Welcome to Mitten Music.
Season 4, raw, live, and authentic. First episode with Mike Ward, singer-songwriter from the Detroit area.
Well, Mr. Mike Ward, thank you so much for
Yeah.
hanging out with us tonight.
Well,
This
thank
is
you
cool.
guys. I
For
love
sure.
you guys are just doing a great job, and as part of, I know you're affiliated with Sonic Coast as well, and
Yep.
Brian has, and the whole crew there have been so supportive of my work, but also so much Michigan music.
Yep.
It's just great.
I'm on Sonic Coast weekdays 8 to midnight, and
All right.
I know your music. I introduce your songs probably every night, at least one song every night, if not a couple more. But yeah, it's good times.
It's been really wonderful to have an outlet like that we can send our music to. And you guys, I did an interview with Brian, and it's just been great.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in the scene, and it's great to hear your music. You know, Mike, let's start out with this. Give us a little background on where you started, how you got into this, because this wasn't what you've done your whole life. I mean, maybe you played a little bit.
Played, yeah, exactly. I played a little bit, at sort of casually, I guess, was a passive songwriter, but I kind of always had it in the back of my mind that, when I stopped working in the advertising business, and I was an art director, and then eventually did more writing than art directing in advertising. And I always thought it would be really great to try and just do music. And I think at first I was thinking it'd be great just to go out and play music,
Yeah.
and then, as after I retired and I started doing songwriting workshops, and, I'd really look at my own songs that I had written and realized what an upgrade they needed, how much I didn't know when I started going out and meeting other people. And the Folk Alliance and all the affiliations in this state really are great for songwriters.
Yeah, and I will say you are a throwback to the true songwriters. I mean, the lyrics and the sound and all that is really, I think, what your influences are, at least in the past.
Yeah.
And you've only been doing this, you've been kicking out albums for the last 6 years or so?
Yeah. Since I think the first album came out like in 2018. So,
Dang.
yeah. And at that point I was like, I had, when I turned 60, so I'm 70 now. So 10 years ago, my kids took 12 of my home demos and they put them up on Spotify and iTunes.
Yeah.
They found an independent publisher, and this was my birthday present. And it was sort of like my son said, this is sort of like us telling you, okay, you want to do this, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's about when I started kind of going out to more open mics, started doing workshops, things like that, and kind of trying to get prepared for it.
All right. That's awesome. And how did it feel to get that music out the first time, like your first album or even these demos?
It was amazing because you could, I tell people, yeah, I'm a songwriter, and blah, blah, blah. And I remember we were in a bar in Chicago, and this guy's going, oh, yeah. It's like Kyle Rashi has a song about that, it's one of the only professions where when you tell somebody you're a songwriter, they go, okay, prove it,
Yeah.
And, I had my phone and I went to,
right there.
yeah, well, I went to iTunes and I went,
fair enough.
That's me. Yeah, that's, I went to Spotify or iTunes. Yeah, I went, yeah, I'm right there. And the guy went, he bumps the person next to him and goes, this guy's on iTunes and Spotify. Little did any of them realize, how little that really meant in terms of finance. But it is,
but it's cool.
It's a necessary outlet. You have to do it. It's like, Young and Joni Mitchell, they can afford to say, well, we're going to pull our stuff off. Although I think they've both gone back now.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of albums. As soon as you said Neil Young, there was someone else that popped in my head that they pulled it and then it's back on again. I don't know.
Yeah, but I will say, for me, I was in a creative field. I worked with creative people all the time in film and print, photography, music. So for me, it's been kind of just like a shift in what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was always presenting new work and always having to develop new ideas. Always having to develop new ideas every single day you work. So one of the things I realized was in doing these songwriting workshops was, wow, I actually, my mentality is in my work ethic, it really pays off with this, because I don't mind going back and reworking or revising or trying it another way, or just throwing it away and trying something else.
Yeah, you've been used to that, right? I'm sure you can't make every idea an awesome idea that's going to sell whatever you
Right.
need to sell.
Yeah. And, and honestly, too, during my work life, I was writing songs, but because I was in a business where you had to put ideas up on a wall and everybody could have at them, they could just rip them apart. I kind of treated songs as, these are mine. I don't really want anybody to have anything. I'm not really looking for feedback. I'm just going to write these.
It's your output of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yourself.
It was my outlet to sort of express myself away from a different creative endeavor.
And you're obviously putting out a lot of creativity, because you've put out 5 albums since you started this?
And I'm working on a 6th right now. And part of that is I'm in songwriting groups where I write a song every month, and that's, I don't limit it to that. One of the things that really jump-started me actually after the first album was early in the pandemic, oddly enough. So I had my second album kind of ready to go. It was already, The Darkness and the Light got released in January, right before January of the pandemic, in the midst of it.
2020 then?
Yeah, 2021.
2021, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it was late in 2020, early 2021. But in April of 2020, a friend of mine from New York said, "Hey, anybody want to try and write a song every day for the month of April?" I went, "Okay, I'll try that." And, I took the challenge, and I wasn't going to back down from it. And I ended up writing 32 songs. And so the next album I did, I actually recorded 22 or 23 songs for Particles to Pearls. But then some of the songs became the EP that was Troubled Times. And some of the songs ended up on the next album, Love Never Rests.
Okay.
But there are seeds of songs that are still, I have them in folders that, I might steal a line, or I might steal a melody, or I might, it was like nobody was going anywhere. I wasn't going anywhere. I was just working on music all day, all night. I was just.
That's awesome.
And it helped my playing too. It helped me. I just played and tried things and tried different sounds, different tunings. And I don't know if I would have done that. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would have had that kind of output. And kind of getting that kind of, and the other thing all of us did, right, during that time period, I was always online, listening to other artists, talking to other artists. I did so many other workshops that I couldn't have done, because all of a sudden, instead of them being in person, there was one out in Washington State, another one in California, another one down south. We could do them because they were on Zoom.
Right.
Heck yeah. Sweet.
Anyway.
So how would you say your progression has come since 2018 to now, with your new album, Still Troubled, and then you're working on some other stuff? So, yeah, how have you grown?
You know what? I think my songwriting has really improved, and I'm still trying to improve. I feel like sometimes I have to stop and try and get better at playing again, kind of take that break. And I did that. I didn't do as many shows in the last month of this year so that I could just do more practicing and do more playing around like that. But I think the thing that I've improved on is lyric writing, especially, and the development of like trying to really hone in on the idea and reduce and reduce and reduce to still keep it.
Cool. And it sounds like you're quite a sports fan as well.
I am.
And obviously you're wearing a Lions hat.
Yeah. But I grew up playing hockey from the time I was 4.
Jeff told I told Jeff, I go, maybe we get to ask him why Psycho songs? What's Psycho? What's Psycho
Okay.
Mike? Jeff looks at me like I'm the dumbest person ever. He's like, dude, you don't know. So I didn't know you played hockey and you had so how did the name I can guess how the name stuck.
I have a really bad Irish temper, and it comes out on the ice. It used to come out in my work life too, because I broke this hand punching walls in my first few years. I was pretty high strung in my first few years. It was like I didn't understand how to handle the stress of the job, and I would get so upset when it didn't go right, or things would get killed or whatever, and I punched walls, and that was my. So I didn't punch anybody else. I just punched walls, and I ended up breaking. When you punch drywall, oddly enough, nothing happens. But when you punch accidentally, you decide you're going to punch the particle board with laminate over top. Yeah, there's no give, and I broke my knuckle here. So that sort of was a good lesson.
Yeah,
learned. But so Psycho Ward was the nickname.
Oh, and that even makes sense. Of course.
Psycho Ward, and I had a professor who goes, "You're going to have kids, and they're going to be maternity ward," and, and stuff like that. And then, so when I was doing freelance design work, I called my freelance company Psychographics, and so when I was doing music, when I started writing songs, I would do these group copyrights, and I would just copyright them all under Psycho songs. And the first thing I released on iTunes and Spotify, there's a lot of Mike Wards, and there's a Mike Ward from Montreal who's this really filthy, awful comic. And his stuff was all over my YouTube page, all over my Spotify, all over. So then, Spotify then started doing the thing where you're a verified artist, and they separate your work. And they do a good job, as does Amazon and iTunes. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't do as good a job, nor do a lot of the other services like Tidal doesn't even do it. If it's on there, tough. That was a lesson learned. I never thought about, why do people use their middle name? And it's not any affectation. It's so they don't have to deal with someone else with their name.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. And, with M. Ward out there, and there's actually another Michael D. Ward. I'm Michael Dunn Ward, and I was thinking I would go to Michael Dunn, but there's a Michael Dunn as well.
Of course.
And so it was like, so if I added Mike Ward Psycho songs, it gave me enough separation that it was effective. So
yeah, nice.
And it's a conversation starter. Some people, they look at it, and in the folk world, they look at it and they go, "Ooh, Psycho songs. I'm not sure he's right for us," But then they hear my music, and it's like, okay.
No, he fits.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. So what do you got coming up? You got a show. You got a big show coming up.
Yeah. This is big. It's the Corktown thing. The Darkness on the Edge of Corktown is. This is the second time we've done it. The first time was 2 years ago, and I think we had close to 24, 25 artists then, and it wasn't as organized as this one is. We just did it. We said, hey, everybody, we're going to do this. And at that time, the Lager House was under the name PJ's Lager House.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a venue, they weren't as organized for something like this. But we knew that some of the people involved, we knew they had done a Christmas show like this at the Lager House, and that's kind of what gave us the idea. And there's a whole slew of us that are just Springsteen nuts, so that kind of was what got it going. Was, hey, we want to do a night and just do Springsteen songs. So the first time we did it, we didn't have a beneficiary, or it wasn't a benefit. It was just for us to get a chance to play a Springsteen song and all be in the same bar at once, because usually they're not all able to be part of a show like that because they all have gigs. Yeah. So that was fun. And then it was actually Nick who was talking to Caitlin Burkhart, who was the booker at PJ's earlier this year or late last year, and said, hey, we're up for it if you guys want to do it. And so I told Nick, I said, if we do it again, I'd really like to get it. I'd like it to make it a benefit and have it be for the Motor City Mitten Mission. And they are a group that assists the homeless in Detroit.
Okay.
And they are boots on the ground, 365 days, 24/7. They have vans that'll drive around. They'll provide clothing. They'll provide food. They'll provide, they'll take them to a shelter. They will assist in any way they can. If somebody's in duress, they'll get them help, and they're really impressive. Gail Marlowe is the executive director. And when I released a song called No Way to Live, which is on the Darkness and the Light album in late 2020, we released it with a video, and any money that we made on that single, we released to the Motor City Mitten Mission.
Okay.
So that was my first introduction to them. Basically, what I do is anytime the weather gets cold, really cold, I put that song out there and I put a note for people to give. And it's just sort of one of the things that a tiny little thing that I feel like I can do with that song and that work. And so Nick was on board, and then Nick ran with it. He said, hey, let's have everybody send me a picture playing the guitar, and I'm going to replace their hands with mittens.
Oh.
So if you haven't seen it yet, it's on Facebook. It's on all of our pages, especially Nick's and mine. He did this little quick hit with all 25 of us playing guitars with mittens on.
That's cool.
So it's really cool. And I'll have him get you some of those images.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
sure.
I think it would be cool. We've been getting help from some PR people. Lori Stratton.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Through the Michigan Music Alliance, and she's writes a lot for different publications. She's doing an article that she said she's looking to release it next week, I think, later next week.
Sweet. I hear her voice on the Sonic Coast a lot too. She's got a bunch of little snippets in there.
Yep. She's great. She's great. She's been a really, really huge help to me, huge help to a lot of people in this market. And she's just one of the coolest people. Her and her husband. They eat and breathe music, all kinds of music.
So when you're talking about Nick, you're talking about Nick Juno, and
yeah.
he's also a singer-songwriter as well, right?
Yep.
And so you said 20-some
25
artists, 25.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome. So each artist play one song? Is that kind of the okay?
Yeah. So it'll move quickly. We've been kind of drilling everybody to say, yeah, we got to do quick changeovers. We do have a couple of people that are doing it as like duos. So like Emily Rose and Kate Hino, they're each doing a song with each other as the singing harmony.
Okay.
And the same with Allison Lewis and Courtney Hurley. And I believe they have a third person, but I don't have that name right now.
Okay. And is it all acoustic, or is there a backup band, or how's that?
It's going to be pretty much a single instrument acoustic. I know that my friend Dave Tanez wrote me, and he's playing acoustic guitar, and he's got his bandmate is going to jump up with a banjo. And occasionally we might have, I understand that Bill Sadley may show up and play some harmonica for some folks. And then there have been different singers who have volunteered, say they put it out to the group, because we've got like a group chat, and they said, hey, if anybody wants harmony on their song, let me know. So we'll have multiple mics set up so that if somebody's got a song that they've arranged to have somebody sing harmony, it's an easy thing.
Yeah. Okay. So at the Lager House on January 17th?
Yep. It starts at 8. And there are advance tickets available, and there's a link, but it's honestly it's $10 at the door. If you buy an advance ticket, it's $15 with the fees.
Yeah, right.
I'm just telling people.
Yep. You're good. That's all you can do.
And if you bring an item, and we have all the items listed on the poster, we also have a QR code that goes to the website that has a list of items that they can use. If you bring an item, you get in for $5.
Awesome. We'll be sharing all that info too.
Yeah, and everything. There's a little bit that the Lager House keeps for their bar people and stuff and sound, but it's all going to benefit the Mitten mission.
Yeah, that's great. How big is the Lager House? I have yet to get there.
So it has two sides. So you've got the side with the stage. I think it fits about 100 people because it's all standing. And then there's the other side that has the bar that has seating, and then there's some tables. They have great food there. So there's probably about, I think it can fit about 150 people total.
Okay.
Is my best guess. If I'm low on that, I'm sure Caitlin will let me know. But
who was it, Jeff? There was Carbon Decoy and Ficus, two bands that we've interviewed that were playing at the lot. They just played there the last couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that.
They've really ramped it up in terms of bookings. Because I think for a while, I think Nate Duro, when he was working with Kickstand, I think he did some booking for them. Gotcha. But Caitlin does a lot of the booking, and a lot of it is when she likes somebody and they want to come back, they'll come back.
Yeah, I bet.
Like they just had Alyssa Amador, who's an artist who I met. I met her virtually through Folk Alliance in 2021 when they had their virtual conference. And then last summer she was at Bliss Fest, and I got to meet her in person for the first time. And unfortunately I was out of town, but they just had her at the Lager House. She was not this last year, but the year before, her song was the winner for Tiny Desk.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
That's awesome. This last year, the winner was from Michigan. Lily Thomas. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I did hear that.
Yeah.
I haven't paid, maybe I just don't pay attention to Tiny Desk as much as I think I do, because I've seen several different, little tiny concerts.
Yeah.
But I never really even realized, they have a best of for the year, and they probably, I didn't know if they have an actual schedule, like once a month or whatever it is. I just kind of randomly see stuff. So that's cool. Something to check out.
I'm not sure, but I know that they do a good job of promoting, or WDET does a really good job when there's they do a good job of promoting the Michigan contingent of artists who submit it. They'll put it on their website, and they'll put it out. It's a nice thing for those of us who, I enjoy doing those videos for Tiny Desk. It's always a challenge to figure out how you're going to get a desk in.
Yeah. For sure. I can only imagine. That's awesome. Well, cool. Jeff, again, more questions for Mr. Ward?
I was just going to ask, outside of the Lager House event, anything else you got going on the rest of the year?
So on this coming Thursday on the 9th, I'm going to be at a place called the Hawk, Black Box Theater. It's in Farmington Hills. And it used to be the Farmington Hills Harrison High School. They made it into a community center, but they created this little black box theater for acoustic performances. And it's a really nice space. So I'll be there at 8 o'clock. And then the night before the Lager House show, I'm going to be at 20 Front Street with Ashley Markowitz.
So cool.
Phoebe of the Keynote Sisters.
Not Phoebe Cates, I'm guessing.
No. Man, I can't believe I'm like blanking on her name.
We'll
but anyway,
fact check it and add it in there for you. Don't worry.
Steve Taylor is running
Holmes.
that.
Phoebe Holmes.
Yeah, and Steve Taylor is the presenter of that, the Michigan songwriter round.
Okay.
And then the only other show I have in January I'm really geeked about, it's a house show out in Clarkston, and I'm opening for Rachel Davis.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Man, you got some good stuff going on.
Yeah, it's been fun. I think that's been the most rewarding part of this is just being able to get shows like that and to be able to travel. I went down to Columbus this year, went to Cleveland, went to Chicago, and play all over this state. It's just, it's been a blast. And my wife is a big part of it because she took over as my manager this last year and
all right.
Has been super helpful.
It's great.
Well, thank you, Mike. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
So, Mike, you got anything else? You said you're working on music. Do you have any plans for an album or just working on it?
Yeah, no, there's, we're actually on the 8th, we're actually back in the studio, and I've got, on that day, I've got Annie Bacon is coming in to do some vocals. A guy named Jason Denny is coming in to do some mandolin. Sarah Gibson's playing cello, and Emily Slumovitz is going to be playing violin. And then we have one more session on the 19th with Larry LeBeck playing pedal steel, Terry Burkett playing guitar, Michelle Held singing harmony, and Judy Brown singing harmony. The thing that I've really enjoyed about the production end of it, just real quickly, is just that end of it, being able to get amazing people involved in my recordings. Because I firmly believe what Jackson Browne once said, which is always be the worst player in your own band.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jeff, again, you always got to be the worst co-host in your podcast. So just remember that.
I'll keep working on that.
No,
you're the best. I'm the worst. So you automatically lose.
This is great. I enjoyed meeting you guys.
Well, it's awesome meeting you, but yeah, I've listened to you for quite a while now. So it's really cool, like getting to talk to someone a little personally that you listen to quite often. So
yeah, definitely. American Insanity.
American Insanity, that song actually started in 2016.
Makes sense.
I had an iteration of it that I was playing at bars, and then I put it away. I felt like it and then I brought it back, and my friend Dave Tanya is really, he kind of went through it and helped me kind of refocus it. And because originally it was called Anarchy. And the reality is, it was written about anarchy sounds good to me. But in fact, anarchy doesn't sound good to me. It's like, it was like, I had the wrong point of view. And when I hit on American Insanity, it's an edgy song. I've been so pleasantly surprised at how much it got played. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know if you know, for the month of November on the folk international charts, it reached number 8.
Wow.
on the worldwide charts for that month. I had submitted it to be part of a compilation album that was put out by Hudson Harding, so it was among other songs, but it was one of it was one of 40 songs on a record, and it just hit a chord with people in that month. You know, obviously I knew it would drop off after that because it's like I don't play it that much now. You know, I have to see what happens in 2 years.
That's right. Yeah.
I may rewrite it again.
I like it. Thank you, Mr. War. This is great stuff. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You.
Keep it up.
Go Lions.
Go Lions.
Go Lions. Go Lions. All right. Get you out of here.
If you like this episode, check out all of our episodes on your favorite streaming platform, or even our website, themittenmusic.com. Or if you want short clips of our episodes, check out our socials. We got Facebook, we have Instagram, we got TikTok, and YouTube. We're all over the social media game. Make sure to check out some live Michigan music or listen on your favorite streaming platform.